All right, we are now live. Welcome everyone to the 90 Degree Show. We are at Volume 8 this year in 2018, ready to talk about one of the greatest matchups of all time, the BoomBox, and a really good show from North Carolina A&T. We a couple weeks behind on it, but we definitely want to talk about it because it was so inspirational. It was the bomb, y'all. So we gotta stay woke. That's a little teaser right there. All right, y'all. Let's kick off the show.
Hey.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, the sports center for college marching bands where we recap the ultimate battles from this weekend. And now, here's our host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you tonight. We are broadcasting live, so we appreciate all those listening or watching, rather through iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, our website, our blog, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network. If you feel so in your heart, of course, just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. Tonight's show is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, SAY Marketing and Promotions, blockusup.com, and here I'm losing myself, blockusup.com, Kevin Peete of Remax Patriots Realty, and Smokee Owl's Barbecue. Good.
We're stupid.
You know, hold on, let me just get a little bit, make sure. Thomas, boy, as a boy. But we won't get into it. But shout out to Smokee O's and the rest of our sponsors who allow us to do great things, help us to send kids with a little money in their pocket when they go out to band camp. All right. So, introducing two of the greatest people on earth. My co-host for this wonderful show, ladies first, the wonderful Bridget Bell. How are you doing in this podcast, Bridget?
I'm doing great. We can hear the music tonight, so I'm hyped. That's awesome. We heard your sound effects and everything. Go ahead, Joe.
Are you serious?
I'm absolutely serious. You
Rashad,
rock that out.
Rashad,
I can hear
did you hear it? Hold on. Oh, you getting me too excited. Okay, so there was an update, like right when I started it. So hopefully maybe that was fixed. But yeah, that's outstanding. So how are you doing this in this podcast, Bridget?
I'm doing good. I'm excited.
That's cool. And without further ado, he was out 2 weeks in the jungles of Africa, taming the wild, and then back in the United States for our civil rights. The one and only Hampton alumni. Used to be magnanimous, but now this year the regal Rashad Watters. How you doing in this podcast, sir? Oh, Lord,
I don't know for sure I can hear you.
Oh no, I see him.
I'm all good here, man. I just had to. I was trying to get a little bit more ado. You said without further, you just need to get a little bit more ado.
There you go.
I came back about being the Raven this time.
Dude, I was about to say it. I was like real close to say I had got myself so crunk up about like the suspense. I built it up, and I almost said Raven, but then I caught myself. I say, oh, but yeah, I got it. What's going on, Rashad? How you doing, man?
Everything is all good, man. I went down to your stomping grounds there, good old Mississippi, Columbus, Mississippi, for my mother's class reunion, 50-year class reunion. I mean, sorry, Mom. I mean, 35-year class reunion. It's weird. 41. How that works, but I don't. That's what Mom said. But I'm back and ready to rumble.
That's cool.
I just want to mention real quick that today's show is brought to you by our new sponsor, Copy This Right Here.
Copy that. Why you say that, man?
Poor Joe.
We get the Southern show.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I definitely see. Press the wrong button. So yeah, it would be. I definitely see how you have like multiple people doing these shows. Cause boy, I be in like 3 different worlds doing all of this over here. But I'm gonna get it one day. I sometimes listen back to what we listened to, and I was like, damn, I was like totally in space. I didn't want to say that, but it is what it is. So real quick, before we get started, I want to send some prayers up. A couple people I want to say a shout out to tonight. So of course we are talking about the S in Jackson State tonight, but I do want to say that we all love each other outside of all the craziness, and we always want to lift each other up. Brian Simmons, he's headbander right at Southern.
Yeah,
Brian.
The intro.
Yeah, I think he's acting. I think he's unofficial, but yeah, he's acting.
So he posted on Facebook, and I saw it this morning, but his mother had a stroke after.
Oh man.
Yeah, after I think the last game that they did. I think he said Dallas. I can't remember the quote right off the top of my head, but I know it was long, and it tripped me out. But he said that his family held him up, and they got together because he had the dilemma of basically. You got all this stuff going on at Southern, and then, you got this stuff at your family. But he said his brothers and sisters, had his back, and they were like, you got so many kids to worry about there. So I think he was still able to see her or whatever, but things turned out cool, so she's better.
Okay.
So, yeah, I wanted to, give a little thank the Lord for that. You know what I'm saying? And then also I text, the one and only Garrett Edgerson, because I always holler at the folks, to let them know that, hey, I'm going to give you a shout out, or, check us out. And he said that his mom is going through it. She has breast cancer, I believe, that he said. And he said he had it. She had it before, and then it went away, but now it's like back. So... I was just thinking the number one thing I thought about was how young both of them are. You know, like when my dad passed in 2015, I was almost 40, and I still dealing with it. So, but at that age, younger, I was just wow, just my heart dropped for both of them. So, just wanted to say that we thinking about both y'all here, and sending prayers up for you. The people out there watching them on you, they bring good luck. So yeah, we sending the little folks out there. We bring you some good luck, y'all, and you definitely in our prayers. And like Rashad say, rising tide raises all ships. So we definitely have each other's back in this one. So definitely prayers to you, Garrett and Brian Simmons.
So many people. It's affecting so many people. You really have to have people back. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it seems to get closer and closer to home for many people. So it was great to see bands kind of give homage to it. It's great to see the NFL, the football teams, and everyone else who's wearing pink in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So definitely prayers to Garrett and to Brian as well. It hit close to home. I lost 2 close relatives this year to breast cancer. And they were young. My god sister, who I grew up with, she was 40 years old, and we were literally born together. And she passed from breast cancer, leaving 5 boys and a husband behind. So, it definitely hits close to home. So prayers out to all those who are battling. Stay strong. Keep fighting. Fight like a girl, as they say. Keep fighting.
Agreed.
That's what's up. That's what's up, y'all. So, yeah, we definitely thinking about y'all. He's in the chat room. He said, thanks, you guys. Thanks so much. And shout out to you, Garrett. Human Jukebox Media, and all of our surrounding folks. We are definitely a close-knit family, or definitely a family. I noticed that when people are pretty much saying something, or even when we put out our show, everybody's positive with each other. I saw Brother Shaw, Warren Shaw down there at Clark. He posted something really good, something uplifting about some other directors that they were doing a good job. So we definitely some good folks. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have each other back. We definitely know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So
That's right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Anything else that you guys wanted to open the show with before we start talking about? Because I guess we'll be rolling into our next conversation that This Is America. And,
yeah, that's a good leeway. That's a good leeway.
Yeah, definitely about staying woke, y'all. So let's go ahead.
I'll just say shout out to my color commentary crew. Continue to watch our show, which appears every Sunday. We've been doing, I think we just did Halloween this weekend. Before we did, First Man and also The Hate You Give. So we're rolling on. So make sure to check us out.
Okay.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
So real quick, now I saw you posted something, Rashad, and it had Daredevil on there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys haven't done Daredevil yet, have you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Third season is amazing.
Okay, so you did do that. So the picture I did see then was that then you broke that down. I didn't listen to it yet. I just finished it, and okay, I know we ain't taking too much time. I don't want to say anything, but just all I'm gonna say. That was the best one out of all of them. Oh my God. It was suspenseful. It was, yeah. Y'all go check. In fact, go back and see all the Marvel stuff. Follow it in line and then just catch up to it just for the third season of Daredevil. Just off the hook. Superb. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and go right into it. Let's do our first commercial break. Rashad, can you hear the sounds, man?
Yeah, I sure can.
Man, I'm excited. I'm really excited now. Yeah, it was an update, so maybe they fixed something. So, all right, y'all. All right. Let's go to our first commercial break, which you guys will be able to hear now from the one and only Blockman Music and Publishing. All right, and then we'll be back to talk about This is America, y'all. So thanks again for listening. We'll be right back.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
And directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Hey, it's the Edge One, Southern University's Class of 2013 graduate. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Ready to talk about a really good halftime show. So we had to fit this in tonight because it was a really good springboard to pretty much say whatever we want about wherever we want to go. But we ain't going to go too deep because we got to talk about BoomBox. But Ernest last week, shout out to Ernest. Let me give him a shout out for holding it down. He did a good job. Ernest did a good job. He then said, man, you guys got to check out the This Is America show. And I was like, okay. And then he said A&T. So I was like, oh, okay. So, like, it's a good show. Like, whoop-de-doo, right? So then Bridget texted me. And she was like, Joe, we might need to talk about this, my G. And I was like, all right. And then I checked it out, and I was like, damn. All right. So we got a chance to check it out. Bridget, I'll let you go first. What did you think about the This Is America show from A&T? You got your mic muted, I think.
Oh, here I go.
Yeah,
My bad.
There you go.
Okay, so you all know I'm not the one to give the Aggies props right away. I give them a hard time because they so darn arrogant. I get so sick of all that pride that they show. But let me tell you.
Yeah, so y'all can hear it now. That changed the whole show. See, before y'all was just talking, I was just slipping stuff in there, but now y'all like, yeah, my bad. Just a little shot there, a little free to gats.
But really, I don't really give them props like that. Because it's the Aggies. You know how they do. They don't need anybody else to pump them up because they do a good job of it themselves. But when I say hands down, the best show that I've seen from an HBCU this season, probably period, outstanding show all the way around. Marched well, played well, and a show with a message. So somebody, when I reposted the show, somebody was like, dang, A&T shows are like they had competition every time they perform. Yeah, people, that's how it kind of supposed to be. So they did the This Is America show, which was a social awareness show, basically talking about everything that's kind of happened in America, from police gun violence to, they started with this whole opening, this like montage of America. Okay, they had the dancers with a Statue of Liberty, and they just had this whole kind of thing. But they brought about all these social issues that is happening, from the Colin Kaepernick Just Do It theme to the one that really stood out for me is the Speak Up one, which was the dancer feature when it talked about women who are facing violence. And the little takes, what I give A&T prop from, one, it takes planning. The planning that they put into the show, every element of the show is so exactly detailed, structured, and intentional. The intentionality of the show is like amazing. So everything from the transitions to the costumes and uniforms to everything they do, there's a movement for it. But one part of it, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but when they were doing the whole feature on violence, domestic violence, and whatever, the dancers, they had on a costume that was kind of dark, but then you could see like pops of red in it. When I say that was just like, I got it, like really. And I don't know if I'm thinking it was intentional, because the one featured dancer, her uniform was one color, the dark color, but every time she turned her back, her back was red, as in like it looked like a big blood stain or whatever. It was a uniform, and even when they danced and kicked, they had red leotards underneath. So you think about the sexual violence and things that people face. I was just like, that the dance was amazing, but even the hints of the uniform, the music, everything was just like, wow. The whole show had a outstanding message. They did a percussion feature, even that had, it had a point to it. So outstanding show. North Carolina A&T, the planning on it was amazing. The message was well delivered. I'm glad that I saw the edited version, which is on YouTube. I'm glad I saw that version, because when you see the show live, I'm sure they didn't have like the little commercials and the person speaking in between, and that made a huge difference. Even the split screen things that they had made a huge difference. But overall, I thought that was an outstanding show. So kudos to A&T's band staff for the planning of that show. That was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you guys can look in the episode description, and I put all the links for the videos that we watch. There were multiple coverage because HBCU media is starting to boom like that. So I think Killer Kev was there. I think a couple people was there, but we put all the people and all the links who had some available in the description, and then the links that I saw myself are there. I'm sure that you'll also be able to catch a link and see like all the different types. I definitely suggest all you band heads out there, definitely if you check out the links, check out the Rogers Brothers show and what they talk about it, and then check out Eddie, Meet Me on the 50, Cranking and Driving, because they're pretty much like putting up scores. There's like scoring out battles and stuff. So you guys check that out. We could basically have a whole cable channel. You know what I'm saying? But you guys look down there, and in the episode description, you can see all of that. So Rashad, I'm gonna ask you, because you are from the East Coast out there, the good old Hampton representative. What did you think about A&T show, the This Is America show?
Real quick, as I get into it, of course, as a member of a show style band, I'm very competitive. So when Bridget pulled out her mug, I had to pull out my mug, which obviously says the Marching Podcast on it. I just want to.
Yeah.
Gunshot.
Joe,
let's get into A&T show.
Here's my sign. Bring back Ernest. Where's Ernest?
I bring out the best.
I'm just thirsty. Good Lord. Everything's not a competition, Rashad. I'm just thirsty.
Everything's a competition. You ask my dad at the most recent church anniversary. So I was mean mugging another choir now. So This America show. This is America. Yeah, everything that Bridget said. It was really well planned, well thought out. I think everybody that left that show would have been like, wow, they would have been really impacted. And you can tell that by the response from the congregation, from the audience. So I'm just going to point out a couple small things. Number one, I have to give major props to Golden Delight. Golden Delight is amazing. First of all, just their dancing is really, really good. Like, there was a time during the show I was like, that is really, really good. I think it's when they were dancing and some of them had the batons. I was like, wow, like that looks really good. But Golden Delight is so much more than the frosting on top of the cake that a lot of auxiliary squads are. They are an integral part of A&T's band. They are as important a part of A&T's overall delivery as the mellophone section is, as the trombone section is. Like, that show that they put on would not have been anything without Golden Delight in their different costumes, delivering all with the different signs, the flags, everything. Their part was so important. So definite props to Tiffany Brown and all of the Golden Delight staff and all of the show planners that were integral in their part in that. Let me see a couple other things to point out. If you listen to A&T's arrangement of Backstabbers, right at the end of it, you hear in the mellophones, which is the introduction to This Is America. So check that out. It's a little sneaky little thing that the arranger Aaron Campbell snuck in there. It's pretty cool. Of course, like Bridget mentioned, they made Just Do It on the field, which was cool. I really like the Me Too dance routine that the Golden Delight did, where they had the guy that was on there that was dancing with the girl, but sometimes he would grab her and then he would smack her, and then at the end she smacked him, and then he took off the shirt and said, "Speak up," like all that. That was very, very powerful and very well done. A&T sounds overall really, really, really good, like almost to the point that it's like, is this fabricated sound? And you know that it's not, but it's like, wow, it's like, guys, they sound really, really, really good. I was when I first started watching the show, I was so caught up in what I was looking at that I wasn't really paying attention so much to the sound. It's kind of like when you're watching a good movie. If the sound sounds really good, then you stop paying attention to it. And it's the same type of thing. Because the music was not distracting because it was wrong, I was kind of lost, and I had to think as I was listening to it, like, wow, this actually sounds really, really good, particularly arranging of My Life by Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, that was the bomb.
Yeah,
there were a couple of things that I would see some improvements on. For me, so this wasn't my favorite show that I've seen from them, and to me, this kind of makes me think of my favorite two Marvel movies, which are Winter Soldier and Black Panther. So Black Panther is an amazing movie, but Black Panther is not one that I can watch all the time, versus Winter Soldier is a much simpler movie, and it's something I can watch all the time. With this show, it was it was great messages to deliver, but there were some things as far as like energy sometimes that I wish they had done just a few things differently from here and there. Like during the drill, the forward marching with the high knee lift always looks great. But sometimes when you're marching to the side or you're marching backwards at a slow tempo, the energy, there's no real energy in that. And so it's very noticeable, the energy difference between the people who are doing this and the people who are kind of going side. And you don't really see that when you look at the drum and bugle chords, you don't really see that loss of energy. So I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. Perhaps they can emphasize that side step a little bit more in order to give it the same type of energy. Other thing is that A&T does not fill up the whole field like some other bands do. So when you look at them, my overall presentation of them lowered every time it panned out and I saw the whole band. And I think that one thing they could do is perhaps have Golden Delight on the outside sometimes with some large flags in order to kind of frame the band a little bit better, particularly at the beginning of My Life when they first hit and that powerful chord comes in, the flags, boom, right on the outside of the band to frame the band, I think would have been a better visual. Also, we all know that Cold Steel is very, very good, but I still have issue with the fact that when they're playing, we're not getting a break at all. Like, the tuba section is continuing to play and the drum section is doing their solos, but you can't tell when it comes to listening to percussion, you have to give them a break. Like, give the drummer some, you know what I mean? Like, you have to give the drummer a break so they can come in and do their thing so we can say, oh, that was good. I wish there had just been a couple of moments. Boom, stop, snare drum feature. And then music comes again. Boom, stop, multi-tone feature. And then come back in again. You know, I wish that had happened and that would have improved the energy a little bit for me. Overall, really good show. The ending was amazing. The different formations that they made, they were switching back and forth. And again, like Bridget said, the using the split screen so you could see what they were doing was really cool to see that. And they even made, what did they make? I can't remember what they made on the field, but that was cool. So overall, really, really great show. Great arranging, great sound from the band, very great planning. Good job, A&T.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much hit the major points I was thinking about. One thing that jumped out to me that I thought was super symbolic, and again, Bridget did a good job of bringing up about the text. So, like, they had text about statistics of domestic abuse. And then I think when My Life came on, they had the news clips of all of the different police brutality cases that have been going on. So that's in the episode description. So I thought that was cool. Another thing that I thought that was super dope was at the end, the girls had signs. A lot of people had signs.
Oh yeah.
And and on one side of the sign, it would have like Republican or Democrat, or it would have some facet of one side, whether right or left. They didn't have it in there, but they could have had Jackson State Southern. You know what I'm saying? They could have had something like that. Yeah, I was just trying to squeeze that in there. They can't. But the dope part was that at the end, they put them all together, and on the other side, it formed a bigger puzzle of This Is America. So everything that it is, whether good or bad, you like it or not, whatever it is, we all still make up the country. So I thought that was an excellent way of ending it, like a really good punctuation. It's like, okay, however you feel about this show, we still make up the country. And then, of course, the new term, stay woke. They had that.
That's what they made. Stay woke.
Yeah, they made that at the end. And I don't know, that was just a really good show. I'm glad Ernest brought it up to talk about. But again, A&T, man, another thing that's good about them is, I mean, I just love how that hybrid style. I mean, they look like they a SWAC band for a second, or a HBCU band, and then right a second they look like a core style, like in a second. And I've always appreciated how they weave the two together in each show. So you get a taste of some of everything. They're still, to me, probably the best, like, halftime band, creating show halftime band, whatever that is. Creativity, whatever. I still think A&T is up there. You know what I mean?
Their whole team is just doing a great job of planning, like putting those ideas together. And so there's one point Rashad talked about the break, the percussion break. I actually disagree with that. I think when you're planning show, you want your show to be as fluid as possible. And so we're in this habit now in the HBCU band. It's like, open a drill. All right, stop. Then the dancers, then stop. Then this, then stop. Then dance routine, then stop. But I actually like how fluid, it's almost like watching a TV show. I like how fluid it was. And when you're looking at a show, a stage show, most of the time they'll like, let me stop and get a drummer sound. No, it's all kind of interweaved within the show. So I think that planning and that transition, I think that was even more impactful. Like when we went to the dance routine even tied into the show's theme. theme. I don't say you have to do that every week, but I think that's the direction a lot of bands should be looking into. We have intentional show planning from every element. From, you know, we're so stuck in this HBCU thing of first drill, dancer song, probably some kind of ballad, then dance routine, and then we're off the field, blow down on the sideline. Like, I'm over that. I've been over that for a minute. This was a great show.
20 years.
Yeah, like, this was really an outstanding show all the way around. Clear message, great plan. They're marching well. I didn't feel like they lost energy in their side step. It's their, you know, it's kind of their thing. It's so funny because A&T is just developing this core style kind of thing. I think the first band to actually do it was, that I've seen do it in the MEAC was Norfolk, bringing those core elements. And then for a good time, North Carolina Central would. And so A&T has recently kind of taken on it, and I love it. I love it. I think that's where the direction of the band's supposed to, because there's things, it's impactful. Core style, it has a great impact, and the movements are great for some things, and show style is great for other things. So I really do like it. It's kind of like that Big 10, Big 12 style or whatever. And I really do like that style, that show style. I think it's important, but they face, you know, even remaining facing to the box, there was no loss of sound. Now, granted, one thing I will say is, you know, we know that A&T does some sound editing, just like they edit the, you know, the pictures or whatever. They do a little bit of sound editing, but for the most part, we got some good authentic sound, and there wasn't really a major loss of sound in the footage.
So let me clarify real quick. When I say break and stop are not the same thing. So I'm not saying that the show should stop and say, hey, let's have the drum feature. What I'm saying is that the show is going, the tubas are playing, the percussion section is playing, and then drop out the tubas for one measure, let the snare drummers do their thing, and then you're right back into it again. That's more so along what I'm saying.
Yeah, I thought they kind of did that. Like, everybody else was kind of out of there. There was some other things kind of happening in the background, just like Gremlin. Gremlin is one of them 3-ring circus bands. They've always done that. You know, they've always done that.
Where's the gunshot?
There it is.
You know, they always have like 3 different, like, you don't know what to look at. But A&T, I didn't feel that way. I felt like they kind of separated. They brought them to the forefront. So you knew who was the center feature. There was some other music kind of going, but it fit within the realm of the music they were doing. I actually liked it. You know, it wasn't just a drum feature, but I really do like that. It was a feature that was intertwined well within the show.
Right. Well, that's what the people come to see us argue, so.
Well, it's 2 good points. I think you basically, you clarified. I guess between what you're saying, it would be the degree of subtlety between the transitions, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't mean like a total dropout, like, you know what I'm saying, but maybe some type of smooth, some type of fade, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I think you guys didn't necessarily not agree. Just a little fine tuning of the application, that's all. What's up, A1 Star?
You don't have to make us hug and hold hands, Joe.
I know, it's just my nature. It's just my nature. You know why? Because friendship is essential to the soul. Give it up, y'all. All right.
Yeah. Where you find that quote at? You just Googled that quick. You just Googled that quote real quick, Joe.
Yeah. Wow. It just came to me. You know what I'm saying? It just came to me. All right. Shout out to the people in the chat room. I love hitting these buttons. Shout out to the folks in the chat room. Always appreciate the support down there. So yeah, it looks like we all pretty much agree. It was a really good show. And again, just shout out to A&T for continuing to progress. Like, we've been doing this show for a little bit now, and it's not like they were doing it when we started and it kind of like falling off. It seems like they're continuing to progress. You know what I mean? So shout out to A&T and everything that you're doing. I think the guy, I always talk about Dudley High School, that guy who was Dudley's high school director, I think he's at A&T still, right? I can't remember the guy's name.
Brian Millsap. I don't think he's at A&T anymore.
Oh, really? Millsap's been gone for a while.
Really?
Yeah. Millsap's been gone for quite some time.
The light-skinned brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Millsap's been gone for a while.
No, I didn't know that. Okay, well, yeah, I always think of him because you know, that day it was traumatic. And I always remember the band director. Just always remember the band director. You know what I'm saying? All right. So yeah, that's what's up, y'all. Shout out to A&T. Let's go. Like I said, the link's in the description. And shout out to Blue and Gold Marching Machine Media, or BGMM Media. Shout out to them. Excelente with the editing of what you guys did. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to the show. And shout out to Rosa Parks, a.k.a. Christy Walker. We know that's your school, so we know you would be proud. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to Christy. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and take another break, and then we'll come back and talk about the beloved BoomBox. There was a 0 halftime, and there was the fifth quarter. And, we'll go ahead and get through all of that here in a minute. So y'all go ahead and mute your microphones and check out this next commercial break of our beloved sponsors. We'll be back with the 90 Degree Show. Thanks again for listening.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event, but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
Hey, this your girl Casey Nesbit, 2000 graduate of Jackson State University, class of 1996 of the Sonic Boom of the South, 2002 graduate of North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University, Aggie Pride, also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Fall 1997 Delta Pi Chapter, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
Stop trying to appeal to Bridget so she won't be so tough on the boombox here, Joe.
You heard Casey's promo, the shout out to Casey. Let me just give you a quick shout out. Casey is from Chicago. We actually chopped it up with her. Yes, she's the Sorrel. She's the Reds, the good old Reds, and we chopped it up with her. And I actually put that. I'm not remembering. That's also in the episode link as well. So you heard Garrett and his promo after the first commercial break. His the edge1pro.com. His website is there, and also the link to his interview. We chopped it up, and then Casey, who was in the band with me and doing well for herself, she is also her link is also in the episode description. So you guys check out those episodes of some good, outstanding HBCU graduates being productive citizens out here in the world. All right, so we're here to talk about the greatest matchup, if one of. I won't say the greatest, because I don't want to be biased or anything. The Duke, North Carolina of HBCU bands.
There we go.
Southern Jackson State, the S. And always excited with them. have some really, really good stories about Southern. There's always something going on with Southern Week, like going up to the game, and then the game is always something. And took me back because, like, the second I clicked on the link to watch the halftime show for Jackson State, it was funny because I heard, boo, boo. It's basically all I heard.
Right.
Oh, God. It was so funny, man, because it took me back. Well, we were so scared in '98. I mean, they were just horrible to us. They were throwing stuff at us, and like we marched back to the bus, and then they had us like on the ground in the bus because they said that it was a bomb threat or something. It was just off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was scared. I was scared, boy. You know, go around messing around with Baton Rouge, and then we had a bad performance. A couple of trumpet players got in trouble. And then, like, one of the drummers got in trouble, so one of the freshmen had to do Tiger Run On, and he messed up the, like, doom, 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 doom. He messed it up. We looked bad on it. It was just a bad time. You know what I'm saying, in '98. But I digress. The J-Sets went on strike, and they showed up at the game in their street clothes.
Wow.
Boy, that was a bad time in '98. There's always something bad going on in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
But I think the Boom did well this time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Zero Quarter. That's in the episode description too. Bridge, I'll let you go first. What did you think about the Zero Quarter between the scoops?
I'm going to digress to Rashad. I'll let him get started.
Okay. All right, Rashad, what you think, man?
Oh man, it was amazing. 40-something minutes of playing back and forth, nonstop. I loved it. You know, no breaks, no thinking about the song, just roll. I'm not going to name every song here, but I will mention a couple that stood out to me. And shout out to Garrett with the Edge One Productions, who gave me the list of songs for Southern. I appreciate you doing that. So the first 4 songs caught my attention. Whatever the heck that was that Jackson State played at the beginning, I loved it. It was one of the best songs that was played all day. Jackson State opened up with nice articulation. There's a lot of really interesting things going on. There's a real interesting trade-off between the trumpets and the mellophones. This was great. Southern responded with Down Bottom, which was interesting because I've known about this song since we played it back in '99, but since '99 I could not tell you the name of this song. But as soon as they started playing, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's Down Bottom." I didn't like it though. It was way too fast. It was a really interesting choice of chords going on in the background, and I wasn't feeling it. You know. The second song that Jackson State played was also amazing. Clean trombones. They weren't that audible, though. That's one thing that happened with Jackson a lot, is that trombones play like low a lot, like in pitch. I don't know why that is, but they're very clean. Tubas hit this note at the end. God, it was great, man. And great high notes from the mellophone. So Jackson State is playing that behind off here. Southern responded with No Bystanders, which was okay. They were kind of out of tune. They had a unison at the beginning. They were kind of out of tune there. And it was just a much easier arrangement. So at this point, Jackson State is really taking the lead as far as the battle is concerned. But Jackson didn't keep that. As the performances went on, Jackson's intensity started to go down some. Southern started to step up a little bit. The Through the Fire that Southern played was definitely the best thing that they played, at least for the first half of the game, if not the entire game. I really liked it. But there were also a couple of fails that Southern did. And I could be biased because the camera was close to Southern, so I could really pick up on a lot of the problems that Southern was having versus with Jackson. I don't think it could have been they were having the same problems, but I didn't hear them as well. But what I noticed is that during the 5th quarter, when the camera was closer to Jackson, I still didn't hear those issues. So I feel like Jackson overall is really playing much better than Southern is. They articulate much cleaner. They blend much better. As the sound is coming at you, it's not a lot of people sticking out their tuba section, which I know that Bridget is going to slaughter Southern's tuba section, which at points sounded really bad. The last song that they played, I don't even know what it was. The tuba sounded really, really, really bad. And Jackson State's tubas never sounded like that. when they played NC-17, this is a song that Southern played. It has a lot of dissonant chords in it. And if you're going to play something that has dissonant chords, you got to be in tune, because if you're really out of tune on something dissonant, it just doesn't work at all. So I'm not going to say that it was a blowout. It wasn't a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. Southern definitely had some strong points in there, and Jackson didn't put the nail in the coffin. But overall, I would definitely say that Jackson out-edged them. One thing problem that Jackson had, there's a major difference between how Jackson and Southern plays. And one thing is that Jackson often leaves their trumpets by themselves. Yeah. And the trumpets often get swallowed up. They get swallowed. They might as well not even be playing sometimes. I know you hate to hear that, Joe, but that's the case. With Southern, they have a lot of trumpets as well, probably even more than Jackson has, but they generally have them doubled with somebody else. The baritones are often backing those trumpets up, or the mellophones are backing them up. So that melody is always coming through, whereas Jackson, there's a lot of times that the trumpets have the melody, and you're kind of using your ear to hear it, because those trombones are really swallowing them up. But still, overall, I thought that Jackson had the better performance.
Yeah, that's something we're still adjusting to. And again, to me, it's like something that Southern does, but I mean, we've talked about this before, that lead with all them baritones, with all them horns, that's taking over because it's adding that power and that volume. So Jackson State has adjusted their instrumentation over the years, and they just need more trumpets. On the other side, Southern's been like, super, super loud forever, and they're used to it. So they have a whole lot more years of tradition that they riding on, I believe, to have, those trumpet lines, and they're just used to it. I don't think we are, but they're trying to make the change. You can see that.
I still think Southern has too many euphoniums. I mean, there's a point that you can only be so loud, and there's a lot of times where the euphoniums are coming through, and it's like, yeah, that's really loud, but my God, you're taking over the whole band, and the trumpets are just, you can hear every now and then. You hear high note. Other than that, the euphoniums are coming through, so they need to change their instrumentation some on that note.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how they do it, as they say, but pretty accurate. I definitely felt the same way. I thought the Boom had a lot of energy. I just felt that they were, pretty excited for that game. You know what I mean? They were excited, and they were looking forward to that game, and I didn't feel the same eagerness with Southern. Southern, I'm sure Southern, they probably look at us like, Jay Stank, whatever, that's another thing. But we get up for y'all. Ain't no way for me to lie about it. When it's Southern week, it's Southern week. And, we coming with whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that definitely was what I saw. The Boom was ready. You know what I'm saying? They was ready to, go to battle, go to war, if you will. But another thing, shout out to the dog team. Shout out to the tubas. Jackson State tubas they sound good, man.
Great.
They've been playing really well for the last couple years, but our tuba section is really, really impressive. So shout out to the Boom for that. But other than that, I know Bridget and I talked about it. Bridget and I, checking out the videos. It was but another typical JSU Southern battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's both good, like both good bands playing back and forth, and sometimes it's not the blowout or it's slight, but that's exactly what I felt the zero chords. And then I felt kind of similar about the fifth too, but we'll get into that shortly. But yeah, your standard, really good bands, to our top programs going back and forth. If you have a chance, definitely check out that zero quarter. Check out all of these performances because they're all really good. What you about to say, Bridget?
So I didn't get a chance to tell you about what I thought about the zero quarter. So a couple things. So I agree basically with what you all are saying. Jackson State was definitely the better in the zero quarter. One thing we forget is usually BoomBox Classic have a battle of the bands the night before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like the zero quarter took the place of the battle of the bands. Southern has seen a lot of bands this year. Jackson State, notice they haven't really been on our radar. I'm over Southern this year. I'm over them. But Jackson State, they haven't really seen anybody. So
Sorry, you got to get used to the sound. Sorry.
Of course, they're hyped because Jackson State haven't really seen many. They haven't really faced anyone really. Whereas Southern probably tired from Texas Southern last week. For real, they had to battle the bands with Texas Southern, and they played a lot last week. So I think that might be some of the fatigue that we even saw. Southern is probably their band has to be a little bit tired and a little bit fatigued.
Just keep in mind with what you're saying, Bridget, that Jackson didn't have that battle with Tennessee State that they normally do. So you're definitely right about that.
Yeah, but really, we haven't talked about Jackson State hardly with anybody this season. We talked about the homecoming when they did the little show, but we haven't talked about Jackson State much, and they haven't really seen many people. So I'm sure they were like hyped to see Southern for real, because that's the first real band that they've seen. But I've been saying that Jackson State has been on my radar all year. I was actually planning to go to this game until I realized they weren't having a battle of the bands, and I was like, I'm not paying all that money to go to Baton Rouge just for a game. That's crazy. But I was excited to see it because this is the first year where clearly Jackson State is the better band. Clearly. What I liked about Jackson State in the zero quarter is they didn't let Southern control the tempo. Nope, not at all. And that's the key. That's the key to taking Southern out. You can't let them control your tempo. Actually, Jackson State controlled it. They started responding after a while. They started responding to Southern started responding to what Jackson State was doing, trying to kind of outpace them, but it didn't work. Jackson State is a more versatile band. They can play loud, and they play loud well. Their instrumentalists just sound better this year. The tuba section at Southern, I don't know what they got going on this year, but all season we've heard they haven't sounded good all season. They've been splatting notes. Part of it is they arrange for them like they're arranging for baritones and trombones, and most tuba players aren't just equipped to play like that. And so if they have a young section, it's going to take a minute for them to start playing that high, but I don't understand arranging that style of arranging anyway. I hate it. I really do. Tuba players play low, trumpet players play high. That's what the instrument is intended to do. But, Southern, they do their own thing. But either way, I thought Jackson State was overall, they played very well. Dog Team has been on it for a minute. They've always been one of my favorite tuba section. I like them, and I like Bodacious Basses. I think that's Norfolk's tuba section. Anyway, those always have been two of my favorite tuba sections. So they definitely did play well. But the zero quarter was a lot. It was a lot. That was a lot of music. But I guess they missed the Battle of the Bands. Please give them back their Battle of the Bands next year. But I'm okay with the zero quarter when you haven't had a Battle of the Bands. Last week with Texas Southern, it was too much because they did the Battle of the Bands, then they did the zero quarter, then they did the game, then they did, halftime, and then they did a fifth. That's way too much. In this case, I'll take a zero quarter and a fifth.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I mean, what can I say? The Boom is just a really good band. I mean, we've been good. My dad marched in '62. They were good back then. Shout out to William W. Davis, one of the greatest arrangers of all time. Savad.
I just want to say the halftime show is coming. I just want to say that.
Oh,
yeah. Put that out there.
I don't want to get too crunk, too tough. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm happy that I transferred. Shout out to the IIOS. Shout out to Duncan C Gray. I know he watched the show. I got a chance to touch base with Mr. Gray this week. But, man, just still being able to look at your program still thriving and still doing well. Me meeting people like Lil Elijah Thompson, and he Trump Funk 2012. Well, I think that's when that was his crab year, 2012, and I was like doing the show by then, and being able to talk to him, it's really cool. And I'm sure that other major programs have the same thing, the FAM, Southern, all that, but I guess that's just a really good feeling to be old, like we are, just the old head show, and then looking back and your band is still doing well. So shout out to the band.
I'm not old. Get yourself together.
You're right. We are not old. But it's just people like starting to be like, dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying when I say stuff. But yeah. So yeah, zero quarter. I think the Boom had more energy. Plus, I'm glad you say that, Bridget. I do want to say this. It is very hard, though. The playbook on Southern, it's like, okay, don't get outside yourself. Don't keep in yourself. That is, like, so hard to do. I wanted to say it last week because Ernest was saying, he was like, man, I know that, you know, if you play Southern, you when they show up and they, and that sound hits you live, it's totally like, like you lose all composure, you know what I'm saying? So you feel like you want to just, like, totally, like, just, it's like, dude, you play, you know what I'm saying? You don't even play that lot. Like, you know, calm down. It's like the whole band gets, you know, hype. And part of me be
Joe,
thinking,
I was looking at a quote that somebody said that was attributed to Mike Tyson. It says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's real. That's real, man. When Southern show up and they hit you, man, you definitely lose that composure. So, I mean, I was like you say, we kind of change our instrumentation to kind of like ride with Southern on these days. You know what I'm saying? We probably got tired of, like, you know, getting crunk on a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
My thing is, you know, what makes Southern is they're confident in what they do. And they appreciate what they do. They're confident and they remain true to who they are. What makes other bands not as great is because we don't hold on to that same level of confidence. If you have that same level of confidence, what you do is good enough and that what you do is great, then you have no reason to try to match up what Southern is doing. And that makes the difference. That's why bands are getting, quote, slaughtered by Southern. Because they feel like they got to do what they're doing instead of being good at what you do. Be good at what you do. You don't have to be Southern. Southern's not that great. Like, yeah, I said it. Shots fired. Drop a bomb, whatever you want to do. They're not that great. It's another band. They got 70 trumpets that still sound like 20.
Oh.
So why are we still all pressed about Southern? Because they're loud. If I arrange for your band that high, you'll sound loud too. It's not that serious. Be true to who you are and be great at what you do. That's going to make the difference.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it now. Y'all heard it here. And she is 100% correct. Stay true to who you are. But when they show up and that note hits you, hold on tight.
Don't let go out the window.
you just repeat everything. Tape what Bridget said and play it to your band when Southern show up. Because I'm telling you, when they show up, it is like, boy, it's something. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, no. But let me tell you, you're so right, though. You're right in that point. I remember one year, Norfolk, it was that really strong Norfolk year. They came to Morgan, and oh my gosh, every time they blew a note, when I say literally covering our face, it was like, goodness. I was on staff at this particular time. And I was like, goodness gracious. We were struggling that season because it was hard to motivate the kids. So they got mad at me because I was like, I told y'all it was going to hit you up. You're right. When somebody in your face, and then all of a sudden you want to turn it on. Nah, you got to be great all the time.
You got to be great.
You got to do what you do and be great all the time. And it don't matter because guess what? Okay, you did that, so what? We got this.
Right.
That's what you got to be great all the time. But you're right. Sometimes when it comes to punch you all up in the mouth, it's a whole different.
So that's actually a really good point. Stay good all the time. Shout out to Louie Lindsay. He was in my squad. He's from Dallas. He's the bros. He even said it. He would say, because, you know, I would always be like super nervous before we went in the drill. He's like, Joe, just like practice. You know, let's work it out, and then we go out here just like practice. So it eventually just got to be just like practice, even when we get out there in the game. So that's a really good point, Bridget. Stay good all the time. You know, be great. Like Notre Dame say, be great today. Or like right now, be great. As great as you can. Because when they show up, I'm telling you, when it hits you, it's a trip. All right, y'all. So let's go to halftime right quick, and then I guess I can do the last commercials before we talk about the fifth. Bridget, what did you think about halftime between the two?
Southern won halftime. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard.
This was going so well. This is
They punch you in the face.
Let me tell you. So right now on the field, when we talk about drilling, if you're talking about squad drilling, line block squad drills or whatever, Southern got that thing down. They got it down. They did a nice show. Come on, shout out to the tribute shows. I promise you, everybody heard you trying to slam tribute shows, and they coming for you, Joe. Everybody's they're like, oh, let me show you what we got.
I have kind of noticed that a lot. I'm like, why does this keep happening?
If it's BoomBox weekend, nobody gonna do no tribute show, because that means you scared. Joe, were they scared? I got a question. Were they scared? Was that tribute shows they scared? No, because band directors don't think like that foolishness for real. So, yeah, Joe, sorry.
Gunshot.
Yeah, they just...
You don't get the gunshot when you talking about Joe.
That's all right.
I get my own gunshot sound.
I'll be even. That's all right. That's all right. You know. I was trying to like spawn like a theory. I was trying to like bring something. Hey, we started it here. You know what I'm saying?
That theory is bull, not true. Southern show was solid. Come on now. Good drilling, good sound, all the way through, entertaining, you know. Only thing I don't like about Southern is the gimmicks during the dance routine. Stop it. You don't have to do gimmicks. You're a good band for the most part. You're a good band. So you don't need the gimmicks. Other bands, you know, if you
for the most part. You're kind of all right, Southern, for the most part.
You're good. I didn't say you're kind of all right. They're a good band. Come on now. We got to give them that. They're not like the world. You know, everybody think they're like, nah. They're the next band, but whatever. They don't need gimmicks. Let's put it that way. They don't need gimmicks.
Right.
You know,
We agree.
Alabama State, they hold on to the honeybees because their shows suck. So they keep holding on to the honeybees. Let the honeybees go. You have nothing. That's the game we should have been talking about, but whatever. Let me tell you why Southern really wins halftime. Jackson State had terrible tempo issues throughout the show. Like, I thought it was going to fall apart several times. Every song transition, I thought it was going to fall apart. I don't know if they were hearing the echo in the stadium or something. I don't know. But the transitions was terrible. Let me tell you, Southern crowd, that's a tough crowd. It reminds me of the old school Howard crowd. They weren't giving them nothing. Like, they were saying, boo, you know, whatever. Jackson State, I don't know if they were just shook or what happened, but they really struggled halftime. So halftime definitely goes to Southern.
It's a very tough place to be. I mean, it was, and like I said, I mean, they were throwing bottles at us. It was crazy. I mean, I remember looking in the stands, and they were like, "Get off our field! We don't want you here!" I was just like, "Wow, these people are so upset." You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's they definitely have home field advantage there. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough out there. Rashad, what you think, man? What'd you think of the halftime show?
Oh, Bridget, were you done?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Oh man, okay. So Jackson State started. I like the interest that they did. It was different, you know. It wasn't the sideline, you know, and they were doing blowing. Like, they came right at you with sound, like right from the beginning. I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, we're not waiting for nothing. We're gonna hit you with sound immediately. I like that. And then they went into their drill. Looks like they were doing the Bobby Brown show, which was cool. But they still didn't listen. Gosh, they were doing so good. They came at you. They were playing with My Prerogative.
Yeah.
And they were coming at you right at the beginning. But then, when it was time to get to the chorus, all they had to do was stop and do a company front and go, that's my prerogative. But no, they didn't. They just turned to the side and started doing that step 2 drill that nobody wanted to see. It was, why? Why do the step 2 drill then when you could have done the chorus and you could have had everybody you got such a crowd that's so against you. But if you play the right songs, they'll be with you. And then you could have had the whole crowd saying, you know, that's my prerogative. But you said you did the step 2 drill, which was boring. I don't know why. You could have waited to the B section. Anyway, then they made circles on the field, which were pretty cool. I wish they had did something more than just expand the circles and then do a step 2. Like, they expand them. It was interesting. I wish it could have been something different. I mean, it's just, they, you know, how they were interweaving with each other was cool. Nobody ran into each other that I saw, but it was all right. Then they went into Accelerate by Christina Aguilera. First of all, I didn't know what that was. I heard him say Aguilera. I heard him say the song, so I looked it up on YouTube and watched the video, and I immediately had to take a shower. Don't let your kid watch that video. Wow.
Take a shower?
Oh.
Yes,
I had to wash my body.
Why did you have to wash your body, God?
That song, because it was too much. It's too much for Rashad. So anyway, they played this song, and I can understand why they chose to play that song, because it's a Bobby Brown show. Like, they did a Bobby Brown songs before that, and then they did Bobby Brown songs after that, and then they did Accelerate in the middle. Bobby Brown has a lot of good songs that you could probably do a dance song to. The tuba line was not clean, and the chorus was lost by the trumpets. Again, you got to the chorus, and you couldn't tell what the song was because the trumpets were just getting hammered by the rest of the band. Can some of those trombones play the chorus as well? Is that a sin? Will you go to hell? If you got 30 trombones, you mean to tell me you can't spare 8 of them to play the chorus with the trumpets or something? So that was a fail. Then they got to the Every Little Step dance routine, and the moves weren't really clear there. I don't think that it delivered what they thought it was going to. Then they made Game Over on the field, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, okay, this game is over. But then they went, and why did they go up? Why did they go, it sounded weird by jumping up the octave at the end. Like, I almost didn't recognize it the first time I heard it, which is when you lose on Super Mario Brothers. Then at the very end, they did a blowdown, and then they took the game over with the game part and turned it into Boom and floated it across the field, which I thought was cool. The O's looked like diamonds, though, but I still thought the effect was cool. So I just thought it was a decent show. Like, the announcer for Jackson talked so much trash, particularly at the end. He was talking so much trash, and they had a decent show. You can't talk this much trash and bring this much show. It just doesn't work. And they were not able to turn that crowd at all. So let's go into Southern. Southern came out immediately and made Cure on the field with the ribbon in the middle, and that was so classy. And we have talked a little bit about Southern, like, we're not feeling y'all not being classy like we used to with y'all, but that was classy, man. It was very nice. They took this seat, they spread it out, and then they brought it back in together, and then they did the ba-na with their smooth operator. That was cool. Baritones are sticking out a little bit. Just want to point that out. Great transition though in that. And then when they did that one step, Bridget, let me tell you, when they did one step at a time.
Yeah, that was slick.
I was yelling at the computer. I was like, what?
That was hot. The drag step was hot. I got to give you that. Good job.
Yes.
I'll give you that. That drag step was hot. We gotta give props. I'll give them props. That drag step was hot, and the band was on it. They was on it. That drag step was hot.
This is the second time this year that Southern has done like the simplest thing, but it was so effective. Like the first time a couple of shows back where everybody just stopped one at a time. It was like, that was amazing. That's the best thing I saw all day. The drilling wasn't perfect, but doggone it, they killed that drill overall. It was so much more complex than Jackson's drill. So they were dealing it. And then they had the end of the song, with the nice little runs at the end. They played Eaten Alive by Diana Ross. Great arrangement. Great leg lift that they're doing when they're marching. Then they went into Thriller. I'm like, okay, I'm not really excited about Thriller because I've seen Thriller so many times. I was hype about it the first time, and they do this, that, and they said, oh no, we're gonna do the remix. I'm like, okay, let's see what the remix is. So I was like, I'm not really feeling the remix as much as what I was used to. But then when they said Jackson State, we got a move you can copy, and they all bent over and they grabbed the crotch like Michael and started doing that thing. Boy, I was done. Let me tell you, done. Oh, it was amazing. Then they brought out the Fat J sets. That was kind of corny. But when Michael Myers came out and tried to kill one of them and snatched the wig off and threw it at her, and then he started dancing. When Michael Myers started dancing, that was hype to me. So
gimmick.
It was a gimmick, but it was funny. It was great. So I saw somebody post on a YouTube video somewhere or on Facebook that they've never seen Jackson be murked like that. And I was like, whatever, man. Somebody's biased. No, that was one of the most one-sided halftime battles I have ever seen. Poor Jackson State got destroyed on this halftime show. Jackson came with a decent show, and Southern did one of the best shows I've seen from them. So hands down, no question, Southern.
Yeah, so I had a different take per se.
Wow.
I thought that Southern show was boring, and I thought their gimmicks were, there was beneath them. Just like you said, Bridget, this is Southern. You don't need gimmicks. So just play some marches, and y'all will be straight.
And, of course, they caught an L because they did the tribute at the beginning. They automatically lost right there, right?
Well, the breast cancer stuff, I have to go back to the committee with the breast cancer stuff. Some stuff might be okay to tribute. Now, if they did the whole show as a breast cancer show, definitely L. Definitely fear in there. But starting the show, I thought that was classy. I thought that was nice. You know what I'm saying? Southern has a good drill. They're always going to drill nice. But we drill good, too. So sometimes, depending on what, I thought that they could have done a better drill. You know what I'm saying? Southern, that is.
You backpedaling really fast. Well, go ahead.
I'm just saying that I think that Jackson State's drill was better. Like, other than... So that was the thing. What was the thing with the J sets? So I don't understand, like, what was wrong with them. Like, it was just because they got wear a lot of weave? Is that what it is? Is that why? I didn't get the joke, per se. Like...
I guess they were not as classy as the Dancing Dolls, I guess, is what they were trying to say. Which they are, by the way.
Yeah, they're both, like, skinny. All of them are, like, because J sets, I mean, they're all, because they be popping and doing all that moving all the time. So they're not big. So I
J sets are not known for being skinny. The J sets, they're not known for being fat, but they're known for being thick. You know what I mean? Like, they're known for being some well-built mamma jammas.
I think that's just a standard sister body. When I think of, like, I don't know. When I think of like Alcorn. I think of like the Golden Girls, because they thick. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the.
Oh Jesus! Can we go past the dancers?
Okay, sorry. I was about to break it down, Rashad, but yeah,
exactly. I felt it coming.
My bad. We'll go ahead and stop. But yeah, I didn't know per se, other than the wig, that maybe like, oh, y'all wear wigs all the time or something like that. So that's what I wasn't sure what Michael Myers was doing. Then other than that, I thought they could have done a better show, Southern. I thought they could have came with it more. Like last year, it was like seemed like it was way more intense, and then they had both the video last year just seemed like it was intense. But now, Bridget, you identifying what all went on last week, they were probably tired. There was probably a lot going on, and they were at home, that week. So, a lot of times you're at home, you can relax a little bit. So, but on the other hand, I like how Jackson State came on the field. That was different. The main thing that A&T does at Jackson State, A&T is always doing something new. When you're in Jackson and, fans, whatever you want to call them, at Jackson State, they're always saying that we do too much of the same show. Like, we already know what type of show, what's going to happen next. You drop the wings, J sets, rock the house, blah, blah, blah. I thought that they did a good job with just doing something different. Anytime we do something different, I like it. So they brought the JSU on the field first. And then they went into the drill. But I thought that, game over. I thought that was dope. And then the dude, poking the bear, saying, hey, Southern, y'all suck. And then, you know what I'm saying? That definitely gets them mad. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. You always got to, and I'm glad that no one got hurt, because usually when you say stuff like that, that gets the crowd angry, and then they, stuff starts to happen, and you need police escorts. But the police escorts be shady, because they all wearing them blue uniforms, them Louisiana blue uniforms, and they all cool with Hamer and Simmons. So, it's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? When you go down to Baton Rouge. So I'm glad the Boom took a W and got out of there alive. That's what you know what I'm saying?
They got hit with the W.
So nobody noticed the tempo issues. Joe, let's talk about tempo issues.
Well, I'm not licensed to go that deep into a musical discussion about
Well,
tip-off.
guess what? You need to go to a commercial break now.
Oh,
Oh, hold on.
gunshot.
I know. Bridget just free the gas on everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Boy.
If you're gonna make me talk about them tonight, then hey.
No, but I just thought I thought I just thought we had a better halftime show. But it's been like that. I seen like folks in a lot of avenues. I think like on the Uncut page, I think more people voted for Jackson, and then like it's always gonna be both. You know what I mean?
Overall, yeah, Jackson. But for halftime, no. It was clearly one-sided.
Yes. Let's be real, man.
They did not have time. And I like Jackson State. I wanted them to kill Southern on the field, but it didn't happen. Let's just be honest.
Joe, come on, man. Bridget and I have both critiqued our own bands this year, and we've told it like it is, with the positives and the negatives, So you got to do the same, man. You got to take your L. It's fine. Sometimes you win some. Sometimes Saturday happened.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we just have to, it's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bridget and to Rashad. We got just get them some love. Because, it's good to have a biased show. You can't say Jackson State win all the time. You know what I'm saying? People, I mean, it just wouldn't be right. You know what I'm saying? Even though,
People in the chat room calling folk dancers African stallions. What in the world? And talking about old school Morris Brown, bubbling brown sugar was super thick. See, now y'all got the chat room cutting up.
Yeah, shout out to the chat room. Shout out to the chat room.
Shout out to you.
I do want to say something. Osman, hold on, is this his name? I think
Osman Burlington.
Yeah, I think I seen him. I think he's a cameraman, I believe.
Osman, you a cameraman? Type and let us know.
But he said that somebody played a Donnie McClurkin song that was really good.
Oh,
Stand. Yeah, damn. That was the other thing that I wanted to say.
It was a gospel song. It was a gospel song too. Gospel songs are automatic L because nobody boos Jesus. Isn't that what you said, Joe?
Only at halftime. Was it in like the fifth or the zero? If it was in,
it was in the fifth.
Okay, yeah. So it's okay. It's okay when you do it in the fifth. It's only for halftime. Shout out to the rules. Shout out to the rules. But no, I thought about
you created. Go ahead.
I thought about North Carolina A&T, and they just did that. We were just talking about putting the names and shows. That was another thing that they did for the halftime show. So you guys check that out. They had the name of the show and who it was by and all that stuff like that. So again, just shout out to them. I thought that was really cool. All right, y'all. So we got one more thing to talk about, and boy, I swear we be playing with that hour though. Trying to get on and make sure that we wrap this up in time because I know you guys got a good week in front of you. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's go and do our last commercial break and talk about the fifth between the Jukebox and the Boom. Yeah, I think everything is okay. You listen to the 90 Degree Show. We'll be back after this commercial break, and we talk about our last section.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, everyone. If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of RE/MAX Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
You want the best barbecue around? Smokee O's coming to your town. Real chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokeos know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around. Smokeos coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokeos know what's good for you. Smokeos, come check us out.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
Y'all silly, man. I see y'all over there laughing. Y'all silly, man.
I'm pretty sure I heard Jackson play that in the fifth. I'm pretty sure
Smokee
I know
barbecue.
somewhere here.
Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. That's a jam, boy. I be singing that by myself. I be at work and the song catch me on my head. I be like, go on, Smokee. Shout out to all our beloved sponsors. We really appreciate supporting the network. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. We got the fifth quarter between these two schools. Again, Jackson State, Southern. So the game didn't go how the Tigers wanted it. It was a blowout football-wise. It was like 400-6 or something. It was something ridiculous. It was just.
I know Jackson State fired their coach too Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, man, he had a tough one. We've been down, man, for the last, 10, 15 years. It's been rough. Ever since I graduated, man. Just football team just ain't the same. I don't know what it is, man.
You add to that insult from Southern's announcer at the end about you got no band, you got no fans, you got no team.
It's just harsh, man. They didn't want to hear all that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so we have our beloved fifth quarter between the two. Bridget, what did you think about what we saw?
I'll let Rashad go first.
Rashad, go ahead, man. What you think?
So let me put this out here. I received insider information that the two band directors agreed to play 5 songs apiece, so that's why Jackson left early. But then for whatever reason, they lined up their War and Thunder drumline in front of Southern, so Southern continued to play because they were there. So just to give you that inside information. Let's jump into this. It started with 25 or 64 from Jackson by Chicago.
I love that song.
Great sound. Huh?
I love that song. It's just a great band song. You know what I'm saying?
Great song. They need to work on that phrasing note. You don't have to breathe after every note. Come on now. But powerful ending, great opener. Southern responded with Batman, which I thought that maneuver that the dancing dolls do when they just stick their legs up there every time they play a song that's non-traditional, it's just kind of weird to me. Just go look how long I can hold my leg up. I don't know, it's weird. I just want to mention that. I thought the arrangement was good, but the performance wasn't tight. And this was the first of 2 times that happened. Like, it was a really good arrangement that just didn't get it didn't come through. You know, it seems that every time there's a boombox, that this is the place that Southern features their best song. Like, we've heard what was that? Bohemian Rhapsody at this place, the first song of the fifth. We've heard Welcome to the Jungle right here, the first song of the fifth, and some other songs. So that was the place for this song, but it wasn't awesome. The mezzo fortes though were really good. When they played mezzo forte, the tone quality was really good, but it didn't come through because it didn't seem like the band really knew it that well. Perhaps it was just because the camera was on the side and Southern was facing straight ahead. I don't know. Jackson, not deterred, responded with mostly Mozart, which there were some runs in there that weren't so awesome. Right. They would go, and they got to the top of the run and they would just kind of stop. But for the most part, it was a very good performance. Great arrangement, great job to the mellophones. That ending of the song really opened up there. Southern responded with Around the World, which was great for them. I liked the chord change at the beginning. Lots of runs in there. Same thing, though, not finishing their runs. But it was a very good choice of songs. I really liked it. Jackson responded with a song. I don't know what it was. Trumpets got drowned out. Come on now. But great sound from the trombones and baritones. Southern played We Can't Be Friends. This was the second time. I thought it was a pretty good arrangement. There are some times where the melody was not playing loud enough So the melody was getting lost with other things. I think that happened with Through the Fire earlier as well. The melody in the beginning was too soft, and so it was getting lost. And it was a good arrangement. It was like 2 or 3 different modulations, but that B section was not good at all. But I really did like the a lot of the things that the trumpets were doing. There were some really complicated parts that the trumpet section was doing. If they had executed this well, this would have been the song of the night. But it wasn't. Jackson State responded with Stand. Finally, the trombones are playing high during the melody. The tubas were a little too punchy, though. It sounded a little thin, and the melody wasn't really coming through as much. Southern responded with You're My Lady. Trombones are too soft again. But the trumpets were finally pushing through here. And then Jackson played their last song of the night, which was very powerful. Great trombone part. Let me just give a shout out to both arrangers. They were doing some really interesting things with both trombone sections, splitting them in halves and splitting them in thirds and doing all kinds of interesting things. Sometimes the trombones had some of the best parts of the night and not just, like they like to do. And then Southern responded with Yosemite. By Travis Scott, and the tubas were way too blatty. That was probably the worst they sounded the entire night. And so overall, and Jackson State. Well, first of all, real quick, overall, I would have to give it to Jackson again. Again, not a blowout, but I feel that Southern did not come through on the places that they had. That We Can't Be Friends and the other song, The Batman, were not as good as they were set up to be, and so they were not able to knock Jackson State out, where Jackson State was pretty consistent with their playing all the way through. Real quick on Jackson's War and Thunder percussion section, come on, man, we got to change this tuning some. If you notice, the snare drums and the tenor drums are the same size, so they sound very similar, and then the multi-toms are tuned low as well, so you can't tell what you're listening to because everything is so low. Tune those snares up just a little bit and those multi-toms up a little bit so we can get a fuller sound from the range. And I think that people will enjoy them more. Because you could tell the crowd was booing them and they didn't have to boo them if they could tell what they were listening to. That's it. Jackson State won that one as far as the fifth was concerned.
Yeah, I see a lot of people were talking about Batman. And somebody in the chat room talking about there was a lot of fluffing on the Batman. And then somebody had a meme. There's like a Batman that's like slapping Robin, and there's, of course, you can change the text or whatever. So a lot of people were, dogging Southern about that. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was the same. The only thing is that after a while, they're so evenly matched now. It's just really like the play calling to me, like who was gonna do something different. And what I'm not gonna lie, like you said, I need to be honest and not necessarily say Jackson State win all the time, but I liked the Star Wars. I don't know if it was Empire Strikes Back or Lost Ark. I don't know, but it was the.
Oh.
It was yeah.
Nobody played Star Wars.
So was that I guess that was Batman. That was. I'm getting them. I get them all confused. But it was
Southern played it?
Yeah, Southern played it.
Yeah, that was Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Okay. So yeah, well I liked it. But there were some parts that felt like they didn't know, but I don't know. I don't know. I liked it. But there was another song that they played that sounded like a concert piece, and I do not know what it was. But I said that, man, Southern is showing off some of the range. You know what I'm saying? So I gave them some props for that.
Probably We Can't Be Friends.
We Can't Be Friends. I like it when Southern plays some slow songs. We were kind of talking about that last week, like, them having one speed, being a one-speed lover and all of that. But even still, man, they're slow songs, even though the intensity, I like it. We were talking about Garrett tonight. How I Met Garrett was Something in My Heart by Michelle. That's one of my favorite Southern songs that they play. But yeah, We Can't Be Friends is just it could have been better, but I would love to hear, like I say, that or something from Drew Hill. They play anything from Drew Hill. So again, play calling. That was the only thing that kind of divides things up. So I thought it was pretty even. I'll always always give the Boom an edge, but that's my bias with stuff. So I can't really go on that. But I'm just glad that they both showed up and both bands did a good job. So shout out to both programs. All right. Real quick. I'm looking in the chat room. I have to give somebody, this is a great name. Somebody in the chat room named Scarfinger Hood Rich. That is an awesome name. Shout out to you, Scarfinger. He is explaining something to me about the bluffing, and I'm trying to like catch up to it and all that. But I looked, I said Scarfinger Hood Rich. That is an awesome name, man. We got some outstanding people, our good old HBCU graduates, some innovative, creative folks. All right. So yeah, a lot of folks in chat room say SU got the dub, and then I see Jackson got the dub, or Edge. Man, it's a tough one. But like I said, the BoomBox is always good for competition and everything. So again, I was proud of the competition, proud of both bands, but I always love the Boom. Always proud of how y'all showed up. Rashad, before we close the podcast, anything before we get off, before we go out, before I bid you adieu until next week in our weekly discussion of HBCU marching bands? Anything going on coming up for you this week?
Just real quick, Bridget, you didn't have anything for the field?
Do I have anything? No, I'm good. It was Jackson State. They took the W. Yeah, you all covered it. You all covered it well.
Okay. I want to make sure that you were not left out over there. And
I'm good. I'm good. I'm sitting here looking down at the chat room. It looks like, when I look at the screen, it looks like I'm asleep. I'm not sleeping. I'm looking down at the chat room. Maybe I have to put my phone up this way so my eyes are over.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for telling me that, because a couple times, it's got like an automatic with the camera. So then, like, the camera would go on you just like it's doing now, and Bridget would kind of be like, looking down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
when I look down like this, I'm looking at my cell phone. I'm looking at it, has me looking like I'm asleep. But the chat room, I'm looking at the chat room on my cell phone. I see it on my chat room. My
chat room must have been really interesting a couple times.
He trying to talk about you, Bridget. You guys definitely have
a guy who had to take a shower after.
I'm looking at your face slow down. I'm looking at.
I know. Oh, Bridget, I'm sorry, Bridget, because I'm an early bird too, and I know that I am like conked out 11 o'clock on the Pacific time. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you. Shout out to Bridget. Shout out to you staying awake. So, Rashad, anything to close out the podcast, man?
Of course, Block Band is out here doing our thing. It's Christmas season, so it's time for you to go. Well, it's time for you to start looking at your Christmas music, is what I'm trying to say. And we've got a lot of music for your band, so you can go ahead and start working on it and get your band tight for your Thanksgiving parades and potentially Christmas parades that you have coming up. And of course, Color Commentary will also be bringing you stuff. We are doing the next prequel to Harry Potter next week, so I'm sure Christy Walker will be checking us out. So make sure to check us out next Sunday.
All right, that is outstanding. Bridget,
watch that.
Yeah, man, I like Rashad's show. Like I said, and I've said this like 400 times, they're knowledgeable of what's going on. This is all like a new world to me. I'm like behind. One of my coworkers did give me, he had like one of the original Black Panther comic books. So he let me check that out so I can kind of get ramped up. But he's got a whole bunch of them, and he said that I could come over there and check them out if I want to, like, get my history on. You know what I'm saying? So, So shout out to him. But yeah, very knowledgeable in the subject. I really appreciate the show. I guess that's it. Nothing was really going on for me this week. Looking out, always happy to see you guys.
That's okay.
Yeah, I didn't unmute the thing. See, I'm still working out these production stuff. This is supposed to be while we were talking in the closing. So my bad.
You skipped me. You skipped me. You said Bridget, then you started talking and skipped me. See how you do me?
No, I was looking at this light going off because this song been playing the last 2 minutes, and I was supposed to be playing it. So yes, so now Bridget, you got the music now. So you tight now, Bridget. So Bridget, anything going on this week, or anything you want to say before you sign off on the podcast?
Nothing much for those who are Facebook friends with me. If you're looking for some good recipes, some things to try out, then check out my. I'm kind of video logging and sharing a weekly recipe. This week we did chicken and dumplings. Everybody voted for chicken and dumplings this week. So if you're looking for some good, nice, easy recipes, then check me out. Last week we did beef tips and rice. So they got some good reviews. So yeah, check me out if you are interested in some good reviews and some good recipes.
You said beef tips and rice?
Yeah, beef tips and rice. It was good too. It was really good. We're doing like that quick stuff you can throw in the crock pot. Come home, you got a good, delicious meal. You know, folks working, but they tired of eating out. So I'm doing some quick nice family recipes. So yep.
What's a beef tip? What's a beef tip?
The small chopped up portions of the beef tips.
So like you just chop it up?
You don't you buy it already chopped up, Joe.
You don't buy it chopped up?
You do. You buy it chopped up, and they're like beef cubes.
That's like carne asada a little bit. Is there a lot of carne asada over there on the East Coast?
Isn't that like a Spanish dish? Isn't that like a shredded beef?
It's kind of, yeah, it's real thin.
No, it's not shredded beef. It's actually like, imagine if you take a piece of chuck roast and you cut it into like little cubes. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, look at Bridget. We got the pre-analysis on the side, and we got cooking with Bridget.
The Southern Belgian light. Come on here.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, y'all.
Maybe you can share a cooking show with a certain other band director.
Rashad is funny. Rashad sent a link to YouTube.
It should be called Cranking in the Kitchen.
Oh, that's dope. Go, Rashad.
Cranking in the Kitchen. It's Shakari has like a little thing he does with cooking sexy something. Isn't it called Cooking Sexy?
Something like that, yeah.
Nice show because he's a really good cook. Shout out to Hamer. Don't throw shade on Hamer. Hamer. Well, I'm tired. I'm tongue-tied. Hamer actually has. I watched a couple of his little episodes. He's doing his thing in the kitchen. So shout out to Hamer. Go ahead.
No shade at all. Brother got to eat. So hey, if you got another gig and you can pick it up that fast, that's amazing.
He's cooking, Nathan Hamer, the band director.
Yeah, he's been cooking. That's been his thing for a minute. Like he has like a little YouTube thing he's been doing called Cooking Sexy or something like that. So it's like he was cooking to kind of manage, I guess, weight loss expectations and, good food, but kind of healthier stuff. So it was actually, the food looked good. Like, the brother knows what he's doing in the kitchen. So shout out to anybody who's going to get in the kitchen.
Shout out to him. I didn't know
that. It's called Sexy.
Cooking Sexy?
Eat sexy.
Eat sexy. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, Brother Hamer. All right, y'all. Well, again, I sure appreciate it. You guys staying up late, being here with me on the show so we can, build the craft. So I always appreciate you guys. Shout out to you. And love the boom. Love the boom, y'all. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show. We'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play it down at the bottom. We got the scroll. We got the commercials. Y'all heard Thomas singing that Smokee Old Barbecue. That could be you. All right. Right here on the network. So, again, shout out to you. Thanks for all the love. And you guys have a good week. And y'all go to class. Y'all listen. Go to class. Somebody had to tell me about 400 times. Go to class, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all do that. All right, we come to the end of the podcast. Check out the website. Donate what's in your heart to the Marching Podcast. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson in observing what you do. See you next time.
And that's it for the 90 Degree Show for this week. Tune in next week with Joe Beard, where the marching band battles continue.